Okay, so Zentradi語翻訳スタンプ Nijimo. So this is the box. As you can see, it's got the picture of the actual stamp kit itself already nicely built up. It's got the little box of ink here. This is what Adrian was talking about before. These are scenes, I believe, from the actual TV commercial that advertised this. These are the 3 different types that you can get. And
you could re-release this and have them shown as a happily married couple.
Yeah. It's like, where are they now? And they've got their own kid who's into Macross Frontier, and maybe they should make a Macross Frontier stamp kit that translates things into Vajra language. Anyway, the other side tells you the contents, as Minmei and Misa giggle at you being such a pathetic loser for trying to encode all your shit into Zentradi language. And then when you open the box, you get da-da, da-da. So these are the 2 main outer casings. All you have to do is just pop them together. This is the belt that contains, as you can see, hopefully, all of the runes there. This belt is going to have to be split 3 ways. They're all in individual, let's just put it that way. They're all in individual tracks, and that's how you make the combinations of the different letters. This is like a kind of a ruler. You're supposed to position this here. These are 2 pegs that fit into 2 holes here.
So it's your guide, right?
Yeah. Was that an earthquake, or was that just me? Oh, okay. This is the ink. It's probably no longer ink. It's some weird mush. And these are the little gears that go inside, and screws there.
That are factory stapled to the board.
Factory stapled to the board. If I take the board out, you can see that it's seen better days. It's yellowing around here, but still pretty much as it was when it was first made. I don't think it's sustained any particularly heavy damage. I can see bits of shrapnel encased within the vacuum of this blister pack here. I don't know what that is about. But yeah, never been opened. Today, for the first time in 3 decades, it's gonna once again see the light of day, or at least feel the air of day. Be that as it may. Here are some of the other bits of junk that come with it. This is a piece of paper that you can fold together into an envelope. And it also comes with some letter paper.
Letter paper or envelopes?
Like these parts here, these colored bits of paper.
Okay.
There's a green part and a red kind of maroonish color. These pieces of paper you're supposed to fold into the envelope, and these larger white sheets of paper are the actual letter sheets. So the idea is that you've got these lines here, and you're supposed to print along those lines, and then wrap that all up in these envelopes. And these are actual mail envelopes. It's got the Yubin Bango, your postcode here, and the address and everything. So don't be an idiot and address it in Zentradi. It probably won't reach your loved one. But yeah, there's a secret message here. You can decode it later if you like. And it's got instructions of how to actually make the envelope, because you've got to use glue to fit all the tabs around. Next, we have the instructions for actually making this thing. It's very easy. You use all these little tools, but it's not that complicated. Apparently, you can make it in 5 minutes. Like I said, you split up the thing, you put these cogs together, put the 2 halves together, and you're done. And the rest is just how to use it. Okay, so we'll go into that later on. Next, we've got the Zentradi word textbook. And this is another reason why I love this company. Okay, let's say you're 10 years old, you're a kid living in Japan, and everything that entails. What does that entail? You watch TV sometimes on the weekend, your favorite anime Macross is on, whoa, cool robots, Zentradi, yay, kick-ass. And then you're back to school on Monday. You finish school in the late afternoon, then you got to go to cram school, because you got to study hard to get into that secondary school, so that you can get into that very good high school, so that you can get into that excellent university, so that maybe you can get a job at a wonderful company like Nichimo, right? So you don't have time to play really hard unless you're a super uber geek who loves to study even in your spare time. This is basically a drill textbook. And it says here, to mothers and fathers, please make sure that your kids understand the dynamics of the alphabet. Because some of these kids are probably too young to understand English properly. So the idea is you're supposed to learn English before you can even master the Zentradi code. So you've got love, friend, romance, heart. All of these things that, you know, Zentradi are famous for knowing a whole deal about.
So Zentradi actually speak English?
Of course they do. At least they did in Clash of the Bionoids. Love, friend, protoculture. So you got Tokyo, you got America. This is basically just to show you how you can use these Zentradi symbols to make words in English. And here are the numbers. 1983. That's the year. Then it's just a case of, here, try to practice printing some stuff. And then you get into, like, the vowels and what are the letters that you're going to be using for making words in English, things like that. However, here they also have symbols here, okay? However, it's not enough that you're going to be using these symbols to make words in English. You also have to know how to Romanize Japanese words so you can actually print these messages to your loved one, right? So they teach you. This is this is like Japanese 101. It's very interesting to see if a gaijin would actually come into Japanese through this. I really want to know if there's ever been any person in history who has tried to learn the Japanese language through Zentradi. They teach you how to Romanize Japanese words and then later translate that into the Zentradi thing. So here are the hiragana symbols, aiueo, aiueo, and then you got kakikukeko, sashisuteso, etc., etc. Right? The idea is that you have to put the consonant together with a vowel, and of course we all know that because we've used the alphabet for a long time. But yeah, I mean it's something which might be considered alien for kids who are very, very young. And you get into more complex stuff like kya, kyu, kyo, sha, shu, sho. Then you got pya, pyu, pyo. Then you got dia, du, dio, and like words that even you don't use in Japanese. Tsu, kwa, gua. What is gua? What word has gua? I don't know. And then it's like, okay, let's form simple sentences. And you got これが鉛筆です。これは鉛筆です. Now try it in Zentradi. And you got to write this in the Zentradi code. エルサ、私はこの川の向こうに行きたい。のさ、いや、それはいかん。It means I want to go over to the other side of that river. And this other character, Nosa, says, no, you must not. So you could reenact that in Zentradi language, should you be so inclined. But that's still not enough. Okay, now we go on to... Okay, so let's say that anyone can pick this up and refer to this key, this legend of alphabet language and the Zentradi language. If you just simply substituted the alphabet letters to the Japanese, to the Zentradi letters, anyone could break your code, right? So Nichimo goes one step further. They say, okay, let's make it slightly more difficult for people to break your code. Because we know how popular this product is going to be. All of our kids are going to want to buy this thing. So as long as you've got this code, this legend, people can break your code. You have to go one step further. What you should do is create a special code with all sorts of different rules. So what you could do is try and reverse the alphabet. So that maybe Z is A, and then A you can use for the Zentradi letter of Z, you know. Or maybe you can shift the alphabet like they've done here, 5 places to the right, so that instead of the letter, the symbol for A being whatever it is, that the symbol for V would be that, and then you could start your code that way. And then they go one step further and say, but that would still be too easy. Because, let's say you shift some letters, maybe people will work out that, they've only just shifted the whole alphabet just 5 places. So let's try and take out the vowels and shift the consonants several places and the vowels a different number of places. That way no one will work it out. So what you're left with is, let's say you want to write kaki, you've got this this special shifting here going on. So you've got babi, right? Because you've shifted the K over to where the B should be. And then you've shifted the A and the I over to where the U and the O should be. So you end up with bube, right? Kaki is a persimmon, like a Sharon's fruit. But bube is nothing. It's not a real word. Then they go one step further. They say, but bube is still a combination of a consonant and a vowel. So people could easily break your code. And it goes on and on. You know, when you have time, maybe one of you guys will track down this book and see how difficult it will actually get. But they go into crazy, insane detail of how every code should be basically like VFZJH7. And then they tell you, but maybe if you have time, you could kind of backtrack and form whatever code you have. There's always an underpinning rule there. So as long as you work out that single rule, you can probably uncode any code, given enough time. Now, time, as we all know, is what elementary students do not have. But they've left you with one final challenge in the last page of this instruction book, of this textbook. And that's this. And it says, if you can solve this in 2 days, you're a master. It's taken us 15 years to actually find this damn thing. It'll probably take us another 15 years to work out all the rules of how to break this code. But when we do, I'll make a video about it. Don't worry.
I think I know. Now I know why we found 2 in unopened condition, because they looked at the manual and said,
screw this! There is one more thing in this box of wonders, and that is a handy, for people who got really pissed off and just chucked this in the bin, there's this handy little leaflet which just has the code here, the legend, the key, and the little hiragana and pronunciation guide here, and a couple of other rules. Like there are some instances where you can use M instead of N, for example. Like shinbun, it can be written as shinbun if you like. But those are mostly rules to do with romanization of Japanese words, rather than anything special to the Zentradi language. Although I really wish they'd made an updated version of this book after the movie came out, so you can actually encode things in the Zentradi language itself. After Miyatake Kazutaka was the one who actually developed the Zentradi language, right? And he formed all these grammatical rules. Lastly, we've got a lot of stuff. Basically adverts for their forthcoming little 200th scale little kits, the Pitaban type that I've showed you before. And that's it. Any questions? Any comments?
Be gentle.
You know, there's got to be somebody on the internet that's already decoded that, like 10 years ago.
I don't even believe there's anyone on the internet who owns this.
That's far-fetched. Somebody owns it.
Nobody.
I owned it.
You got the people that previously owned it for like 3 decades. Like, go back to that rental case and ask the guy that sold it.
Yeah, would you... Well, okay, well... I wonder if he was... So, Adrian, would you sell this at some point?
Would I sell it?
Yeah, because that guy must have been... I mean, he kept this intact for a reason, right?
I think he finds Macross goods and sells them in that rental case. I don't think it's his personal stuff.
Okay. What do you think we should do? Should we start from seeing what this is like? What condition this has ended up in?
That would be the
do
easiest part to start from for me.
Okay. Da, 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 da.
Point of no return.
Da, 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 da. It's been waiting here for 3 decades. It's almost as old as I am.
Wouldn't it suck if for the 30th anniversary they reissued it?
Wouldn't it suck if I got tetanus from this? I'm just gonna... Yeah, you know what? I don't care.
I'm gonna be sick. Do you like some...
This actually looks pretty fresh. It doesn't look like a rusty old staple that sometimes you find on decades-old merchandise.
Yeah, I had that before.
Yeah?
Yeah, where you definitely know it has thickness.
You want to zoom in on this?
How far I can zoom in, but...
Nichimo. So I'm going to open it.
Alright.
Do I dare stick my finger in it? It'd be funny if it was just as fresh as... Oh my god, no. Yeah, I guess... Oh, but look, it's made an interesting indentation.
Yes, that means that the foam is...
Hang on. My phone's ringing and I have to wash my hands anyway, so... I'll take a break for a second. Hi, moshi. Hi. Hi, so... Okay. My hands are now clean again.
Okay, lift off your stamp pad. So it was mushy?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, there's still a kind of indentation there. Probably best not to use that.
But the ink is still ink, right?
It wasn't wet though. It was
kind of...
It was kind of solid. It was powdery. Raw! Whoa! It took some of the packaging away with it.
No longer mint in box.
No longer mint in box. Away. It'd be fun if we lose these. Do you think we can phone this number here and just ask for spare pieces?
I dare you to call that number and see who answers. The company's still around, isn't it?
The company is.
So it might
I think.
still be the same
I think it's still around. I remember reading an interview with Takani and Tenjin, and they were talking about this company, and I think... I don't know because I got confused right now. I'll check back. But some of these old companies, they stopped making kits and are making just like model trains or things like that now. I think this might be one of those companies. They certainly haven't released anything. They haven't reissued anything, at least not Macross related. And now the main event. Now this is the bit where I'm kind of nervous because look at this. Look at these bubbles here. They contain air from 3 decades ago. If you breathe this in, do you think it's going to be like that episode of The Simpsons where like the Japanese flu or the Chinese flu comes over and it infects everybody? It becomes this huge epidemic. Should I start from this corner?
You started now. It's like pulling a transformer off of the backing card.
It is exactly like that. Well, like the box transformer, the box stuff, you don't really mind so much, I guess, because you can always put it back in the box. But the blister stuff, that's gone forever, right? It's never the same again.
Nope.
Look at that squeaky plastic. Inside you got copyright Mainichi Hoso, Big West. Made in Japan, 1983. Moving on. There's a little guide ruler. It's gonna shatter. This is actually several pieces in one. Yeah. Oh my god. Pièce de resistance. Is this just gonna like pulverize in my hands? I'm really scared that this is just gonna snap, this thing. Rubber tends to become brittle. I'm also trying not to breathe these fumes. I mean, I don't think there are fumes, but like I said, this is air that has been in stasis.
So how does the rubber feel, and how does it smell?
Well, do you want to feel it?
Yep. Seems fine.
Yeah, it seems normal. It's what you would expect. What does it smell like?
Smells like rubber.
Yeah.
I'm so paranoid.
You sound disappointed. Moving on. This is a lot neater than I was expecting it to end up. Yeah. And here you've got the base of the kit. It's got the Roman symbols here. So you know how far along you have to move to get to the S part, for example. You know? This window here is funny because it kind of tells you, let's say you're positioned on this, right? This is how you're going to print. It tells you which letters these actually correspond to, because it gives you the alphabet here. So this is the alphabet equivalent of these symbols. Is there anything you want to add before I begin putting this bad boy together?
No.
Long live culture.